What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk post-game. Pittsburgh Steelers, Chicago Bears. The Windy City was not great for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's been many, many moons since the Windy City, has been great for the black and gold. The Pittsburgh Steelers fall to the Bears 31-28, a game that ended in dramatic fashion and had an opportunity for the Pittsburgh Steelers to walk out of there with the victory. Instead, they walk out with their fourth loss, in the last 6 or 5 weeks. I'm all razzled, as the Pittsburgh Steelers were today. Mason Rudolph leads a team that could barely get anything going offensively. The defense had TJ Watt, but didn't have much more than that. Kyle Duggar did everything in his power to help and also gave up quite a few on the back end. James Pierre replaces Darius Slay, and can't say things got any better. Joey Porter Jr. is banged up leaving this game. So is Broderick Jones. And maybe that's not a good thing right now. We got the latest on Aaron Rodgers as well. Plenty to dive into. Thank you guys for jumping on with me. Before we get going, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Can't thank you enough for everything you do for the channel. Toss your questions in here as we do every week. We're going to go through some grades, our thoughts on the game, and then I'm going to answer all of your questions. Let's start with the injuries. Joey Porter Jr. out with the hip as of right now. Suffered a leg injury early, then a hip flexor afterwards. That's not good news for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They can't afford to lose anybody else at this point. I mean, you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers defense and it's struggling, and it's been struggling. And now you don't have the only corner left that was reliable because, I'm sorry, quite frankly, James Pierre did not impress me in this game. I get it. I still don't think that you go back to Darius Slay. I don't think that's the correct answer. I don't know if the Steelers have a correct answer. I truly believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback room right now has one quality corner, and that's about it. That's all they got going on right now. I don't know if the Steelers have an answer or a solution, but what I do know is losing Joey Porter Jr. is a massive loss for this defense. One, I don't think they could overcome because, quite frankly, they're not overcoming anything to begin with. We'll get more news on him throughout the week. He will be a watch practice. That's how we know how close he is type of situation. Broderick Jones, on the other hand, is a giant mystery for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. Stingers can range anywhere. They could shut you down for an entire season. Ask DeMarvin Leal last year. They could be a week. They could be a couple of plays. It's your neck. You never know what's going on there. And the fact that he was pretty frustrated leaving the game is not a good thing. The Steelers could lose Broderick Jones for quite some time. And if they do, I get it. It's Broderick Jones. I get it. People are not fans of Broderick Jones. I'm not sitting here and defending that Broderick Jones is a guy that everybody should be giving this giant leeway to and saying, well, he's great. How do you replace him? You probably could replace him. However, it's a tough spot to be in to say Calvin Anderson is going to play better than Broderick Jones over the next couple of weeks or for the remainder of the season. And the Steelers' only good aspect of really their entire team right now is Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. And now you don't have a left tackle that works much better as a run blocker than a pass blocker. It's not ideal. It's not ideal at all for the Steelers. He's a big one only because throughout the week, we will not just learn the severity of this injury, but really how long the Steelers are going to go without him. And if it's significant enough to hold him out for the rest of the year, because again, stingers are big, man. Stingers are not a small injury. I know people view them as there's not this big scary name like an ACL tear or an Achilles. Stingers can shut you down and do a lot of damage. And sometimes it's very, very bad. We'll keep an eye on those guys. Let's start with the big one here, and that is Mason Rudolph and where the Pittsburgh Steelers go at quarterback and so on and so forth. Mason did not look great. Let's be honest. He did not look great at all. You got to look at it and say the Steelers have two backup quarterbacks and they started one of them. It was the right choice to start Mason Rudolph. He did not put on a show whatsoever. In fact, he left you wanting so much more that everyone is wondering if Will Howard should be the guy if the Steelers need a quarterback next week because Aaron Rodgers is not coming back. Mike Tomlin said that he expects Aaron Rodgers to play next week. Here's the thing. I expected Aaron Rodgers to play today. There is nothing, and I mean nothing in practice throughout the entire week of preparation that showed Aaron Rodgers was not going to be on that field. Nothing. He took every single offensive snap from Thursday until game time. Every single one. He was the first team quarterback. And the TV broadcast is out here saying Mason Rudolph took all first team reps. That's a lie. That's not truthful at all. I was right there. Jacob was right there. We texted each other right before the game. There's no chance that Mason is well enough prepared for this game after what Aaron went through this week to prepare for this game. The Steelers need Aaron Rodgers back. My only concern is that it's a broken bone. What is the difference between now and a week? It's not going to heal in a week. You're going to need weeks, plural, to make this thing healthy. So what was the issue with the week? What is the issue right now that is suddenly going to be fixed next week? And I promise you, I know Mike Tomlin said it, that it's going to be preparation, and that's going to be the part. That's not true. It's not true. Because unless Aaron needed to practice Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to be on this team on Sunday, there is nothing more he could have done to be on the field and play against Chicago and probably give the Pittsburgh Steelers a better opportunity than what they had. Look, Mason is not a long-term starting quarterback. I also don't think he was the only issue for this team today. I mean, the defense is back to we look good on some drives, we look awful on others. The offense is back to we look good on some drives, we look awful on others. And sometimes even the special teams doesn't look real great. This was just a game that all around everybody looked bad. And Mason Rudolph was not the quarterback the Steelers needed today, but I don't know if a better quarterback wins you this football game. I don't, because the defense was giving up a touchdown no matter what. And the offense was going to run bad plays no matter what. I think the only difference is that maybe Aaron would have got away from some sacks. Oh, wait, Aaron's been running into sacks. See what I mean? I don't know if that would have been the solution. I'm not saying that Aaron's a worse quarterback than Mason Rudolph. Aaron's 100 times better than Mason Rudolph today. But the fact that this game only operated well when the football got thrown behind the line of scrimmage shows that this offense wasn't competent enough to compete anyways. And the defense was either going to have to hold you to nothing or you were going to have to win this. And the defense hasn't held anybody good to nothing all season. They're not going to start now. This defense is it's the best on paper defense in the NFL and maybe the worst achieving for how good they are defense in the NFL. That's where they're at here. Next week, I mean, if the Steelers have to look at it and say, we still need a quarterback, I'm going to be honest, and I'll go into a lot of detail on my to-go tomorrow. Will Howard's getting an opportunity on Wednesday. I'm not saying he's the definite starter. He's getting an opportunity on Wednesday. He should, because Mason did not look good enough to keep that job. By no means. And the Steelers are looking at it right now saying, we are officially tied in the AFC North. And what do? Here's the problem. We could look at Mason Rudolph. We could look at Mike Tomlin. We could look at everybody. It doesn't matter. The Steelers are tied in the AFC North. They are on a very steep downslide, while the Baltimore Ravens are on a very steep uphill drive. Things are not looking good for the Steelers. And it's really hard to sit here and say that the Steelers are a team that are going to win the North, let alone make the playoffs. Because the only team they've beaten in the last month is the Cincinnati Bengals and the Indianapolis Colts, excuse me. The only two teams they've beaten in the last month are the Indianapolis Colts and the Cincinnati Bengals. Besides that, they've lost 4 games. Their record is about to be 500. They're facing a Bills team that is not that great, but doesn't mean that they're worse than the Steelers. And they still haven't played the Ravens. It's a very, very, very difficult situation to be in. It's really hard to imagine the Pittsburgh Steelers right now walking away AFC North winners. And it's only because it's not because they're just this disastrous team. It's because you never know what Steelers team is going to show up. You never know if it's going to be the good Steelers team or the bad Steelers team, or if the Steelers team is going to last an entire game before they switch over to the other one. That's where they're at. Like, TJ has incredible moments and the offense has great drives. And then the next quarter or the next half, for this example, the offense looks atrocious and the defense lets literally everything they can get by them. Everything. It's a complete 180 on a week-to-week basis. That's not a team that's going to win the AFC North. It's just not. You hope that it is, but it's not. I got some grades here: offense, defense, special teams, and I'll sum them up in one letter because they all got the same grade in this one. And that's D for duh Bears, smoked duh Steelers. That's what this is. The offense, yeah, look, you needed a wide receiver too. Week by week by week. I understand the George Pickens thing, but you not going to get a wide receiver too just meant that, well, DK is your only option. And when DK is not catching the football, you're just chucking it up to Roman Wilson and it's landing 25 yards out of bounds or it's nearly getting intercepted. That's what that means. You have a great running game, but the second that your running game tires out, you have nowhere to go. And you can't figure anything out because you can't throw the football. You got 100 tight ends, and Darnell Washington is coming off a fantastic week. For you to throw the football to him, I believe one time. I believe 2 times for 22 yards. That's what you threw to Darnell Washington. Insane. Defense, you get a D because, I mean, are you supposed to be worse than this? I mean, I just don't know. I don't know how you give up 31 points and figure to be anything better than a D. It doesn't matter. 31 points. James Pierre did not look good. TJ Watt made one really, really good play. Don't get me wrong, but that was about it. There was nothing else there. The running game actually was more of a success defensively than I assumed it was going to be. And Jalen Ramsey, to be very, very honest, I have to go back and watch still, but there were a lot of moments where Jalen is looking this way when the ball's coming in front of him, and then it's too late for him to realize that to make a play. It's like all your stars are just somewhere else. That's what the Steelers defense feels like. All your stars are elsewhere. And Cam Hayward, I mean, it's crazy when Peyton Wilson and Kyle Duggar are your best 2 players on this defense. That's just not okay. Not okay at all. And then on special teams, I mean, it's a D only because Corliss Waitman kind of stunk today. He did not play well at all. He had some pretty atrocious punts. And I mean, that's the only part of the special teams they got to see because nobody else was around. Chris Boswell wasn't doing much. Calvin Austin was being Calvin Austin. Kenny G fumbles a muffed punt or a muffed kick, which I get it. That's not 100% on him. That's a great move by the Bears, but still, I don't know. I don't know where the Steelers go. Players of the game, Kenny G and TJ Watt. I don't even have to get into them because Kenny G looks great right now. Outside of one muffed kick, looks great. And TJ Watt's the only guy on defense that, like, he's not making mistakes on top of good plays. Kyle Duggar makes great plays, but then also gives up big passes. That's where we're at. That's where the Steelers are. It just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. I'm excited to dive into some questions here, to be honest with you, because I look at this and say, The Steelers team is a very what is going on team. How could you fix it? At what point does it get too late to fix it? I think that's where we're nearing here. Is it's week 12 heading into week 13, excuse me. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 6-5. They're tied for first in the AFC North, but the Baltimore Ravens just tied them. Is it hitting a point where it's getting to be too late to turn this around, where you lose faith that this could be a consistent team? And how bad can it sink if it continues? Because again, the Steelers are, what is that? 2-4 in the last 6 games. What happens in the next 6 games? If you go 2-4 again, you finish the season 8-9. That's where the Steelers are headed right now. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. All right. Let's dive into some questions here. Appreciate all you guys for jumping on with me. If you got them, toss them in the chat. On top of that, if you could, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Can't thank you enough. Shout out to our members and our super chatters. As always, we're going to start with artisanal bullet kennel. Just poor coaching. Boswell makes that every time. There is a lot of conversation right now about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Very questionable decision not to kick a field goal at the end of the game here to try and tie it 65 yards from Chris Boswell. I've never been to Chicago. I don't know what the Windy City's like. I don't know if that's a very difficult place to kick a football. I don't. If it is, okay. If it's not, should have put him out there, because I'm sorry, but it's at some point, I get it. I get it that that's like the least likely possibility. The least likely outcome is your kicker making some ridiculous kick to seal a game or to head you into overtime. I get that. At some point, you got to take that shot. At some point, you just got to get that opportunity, or give him that opportunity to say, Chris, can you go do that? Can you at least try? Because if you don't make it, who cares? We're putting our world famous kicker on the field to see if he can send us into overtime, because our backup quarterback isn't the guy that we want taking that opportunity. I agree. But I also think the 4th and 2 or whatever with the no timeouts, I would have gone for it there too. I get it that you're on your side of the 50, but you don't have a first down to give up. So it doesn't matter. If they kick a field goal, if you don't get it and they kick a field goal, you still win with the touchdown. And I understand you weren't going for a touchdown. You understood the situation. I would have went. It's 4th and 2, dude. I would have went for it. I think those are two very bizarre decisions by Mike Tomlin. The biggest two. Excuse me. Chris here. Noah, it was sloppy and too many mental lapses. Sad. Yeah, that seems to be the entire season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like that's where we're at. Is I don't know when the mental lapses are here. I don't know when the Steelers are going to fix them. I don't have any idea when the Steelers can actually turn this thing around to a place where the mental lapses, the sloppiness ends. I don't think that's possible in week 13. Maybe it is, but I don't think it is. Artisanal Bully Kennel, John Gruden, head coach, James Harrison, defensive coordinator, Hoofer, offensive coordinator. I don't know if I'm putting James in there. I like the John Gruden play. I don't like the James Harrison, but I don't hate it. Offensive coordinator, man, I think there's got to be a couple of names out there, but screw it. Did you want to call up Tom Arth? That sounds good to me. You want to go look at a college coach that's out there that looks great? Sounds good to me. You want to let John Gruden call one of his NFL legends into the NFL and give him an opportunity? Sounds good to me, but I don't disagree with the change of anything. You know, I think we are really nearing a conversation where it's back against the wall for Mike Tomlin. And I don't think John Gruden would be the name that replaces him, but I do think that the Steelers would be looking historic to make a move, because they're not looking to lose. You know, they're looking to get better than where they're at. They're not looking for a rebuild right now. No matter how many times we say they should have one or go through one, that's not their objective. And they will look at a number of names I don't know if Gruden's going to be on that list, but Gruden quality will be on that list. Chris, we need to draft a new secondary. Very frustrating. Yeah, the Steelers need. Look at. Let's just be honest about the whole situation. Darius Slay's been a bust. James Pierre is not a starter. It's fun. It's really fun to talk about James Pierre, and I hope that he does have a great game. But he's not a starter in the NFL. Brandon Cooks is not a starter in the NFL. Kyle Duggar would be great if he was the least best person on your secondary. If he was the worst person to play for the Steelers secondary this season, which he's supposed to be, then he's a great addition to have. Jalen Ramsey's been a failed experiment. I mean, it's clear as day. You can't trade for Jalen Ramsey, make this big deal about it, and then your defense gets significantly worse. You just can't. You just can't. It's been bad. You need to go make moves for a secondary. I don't know. You can't do it right now, but in the offseason, you have to. You have to. Tony, but we don't need a wide receiver too, says all of Steelers media. I am not on that list. If you have been around here long enough, you very much so have heard me talk about pretty much every wide receiver possible for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Literally every single one of them for the last 2 years. So much so that I think people have stopped watching the show because, and I love you still, because of how much I talk about wide receivers, but the Steelers need a wide receiver too. The Steelers need a wide receiver too right now. Right now. And they're not going to get one. They're not going to get one. No chance. Leroy, yeah, I'm done with Mike T and staff has to go. It's time to rebuild. We are one massive step closer to the coach. Let's take NFL draft at this point. Let's talk NFL draft at this point. Look, the Steelers are very close to that. I get it. They're tied for first place in the AFC North. People are going to say season's not over, long way to go. You could still win the North, blah, blah, blah. I get that. I get all of that. But you are a little bit delusional sitting around right now thinking the Steelers are a team that are going to win a Super Bowl. The Steelers are a team that are better than the Ravens. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make any sense. Like they're not. You can watch them clear as day and say they're a team that has spurts. And those spurts are really fun. But they're only spurts. And the spurts they're getting farther and farther apart. And that's just it gets worse. It gets worse and it gets worse and it gets worse and it gets worse. I'll tell you this though. If the Steelers team is as bad as they're headed right now, then we will see the Steelers make a move for a quarterback. We will, because there will be nothing holding them back anymore. There will be no more talk of how do we go. It will be an official, we will rebuild this team and we will make dumb decisions in the meantime. And we will see a quarterback come to Pittsburgh. We will. Rasta Pasta Salad, do you think it's time to bring up MVS and Asante this week with the performance we just had? Yes. It should have been MVS time 2 weeks ago. He should have played against the Bengals last week. It doesn't make any sense, but I'll tell you very straightforward, he's not going to get called up. He's not going to get called up. I would be stunned if the Steelers called up MVS. Stunned. They have shown no indication that he's going to be part of this game plan. Not in practice, not in press conferences, nothing. I just don't see it happening. Asante Samuel Jr. needs to be called up immediately because the Steelers are out of options. Joey Porter Jr. is hurt. Where are you going? It can't be Deshaun Jameson again. You can't be like, that's the answer. Asante Samuel Jr. is a starting corner in the NFL. What? You have to call him up. You have to call him up. I mean, you have to call them up. Will they? ASJ, I think maybe. I think there's a possibility. MVS, there's no chance. There's just no chance. I'm sorry. I hate that I'm that guy, but there's no chance. Chris, Noah, it was too late a month ago. Rebuild time. I think we are there. I think the Steelers have shown it's just so hard to change. Like, unless you go into December, which the Steelers are historically not good in December as of recent. Mike Tomlin is the best. He loves to talk about December football. He's not the best in December football. Unless that drastically changes. I mean, we know what the Steelers are. We know exactly what the Steelers are. This is a team that wins some and loses some, but they're not going to win consistently enough. And I really, truly do. I think right now the Steelers are headed for a place where they're not going to make the playoffs. And our season's going to end so early. And we're just going to be on here hanging out, talking about a rebuild that needs to happen. It'll be a big question on whether or not they do it. Hitman Roscoe, goodbye, Tomlin and Arthur Smith. What the F was this loss? This was this. I got to be honest. Going into it, I thought they were going to get smoked. I picked them to win because I thought Rodgers was playing. The second Rodgers wasn't playing, I thought it was over. I thought it was I thought it was completely. This wasn't even going to be remotely close to a football game. And they showed moments where it was like, okay, we could keep up, but I mean, that's all it was. Arthur Smith being able to design an offense that doesn't throw the football past the line of scrimmage and has success is so awesome. Him being able or not being able to design an offense that has success throwing the football beyond the line of scrimmage is blasphemous. It's crazy. It's crazy. Eddie the Great, Eddie the First. Sorry, brother, but F by Tomlin. Every loss that happens, we are closer to that. I am going to be honest. I mean, it's got to be where we're at today. Every loss we get to, every loss the Steelers get to, they got to be closer to this. They have to be close to that decision. I heard heading into the season, I got multiple phone calls to push the narrative and to make sure that I knew that Art Rooney and the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, Mike Tomlin, were closer than they've ever been, that they were family, that they fully believed in each other, and Rooney fully believed in Tomlin. And I believe that he still does. But now it's open dialogue about how frustrated the organization is about the lack of success. And I can't blame it. You can't blame it. Panturi's broken furnace. And just like that, we are broken again. Vegas predicted we would collapse when we had the Ravens winning division at 1-5. Vegas knew what was up. They took my money and ran with it. This is why I don't give betting advice at all, because when the Ravens were 1-5, this guy right here said, oh, what's in my DraftKings account? We're just going to put it all on the Pittsburgh Steelers to win the division. And I look like a big, dumb idiot now. Big, dumb idiot. I don't think the Steelers walk away AFC North champs. The Ravens are winning games when they don't even look that great, and they have a much easier schedule ahead of them. It's just getting started. It's just getting started in this AFC North. And I would be lying to you if I said that I felt confident the Steelers are going to walk away winners. Got to stay hydrated always. Leroy, thoughts on Brandon Ayuk? My thoughts are the Steelers need a wide receiver 2. Bring Brandon Ayuk in tomorrow. Who cares? Who cares? Like, what's the? Just bring him in. If he gets released, just bring him in. Just bring him in. Make it happen. Don't trade for him. Don't wait till the offseason trade for him. The second he's released, you make a waiver claim or you go and get him and bring in a wide receiver 2. Zero reason. Zero. You chased him for a whole year last year. And people will say, well, he's gone crazy since then. No, he hasn't. No, he is not. I was told last summer multiple times by sources inside that building, inside the Pittsburgh Steelers building, that they knew the risks of Brandon Ayuk's character, that they were well aware of it. And they were still willing to make a move because they knew how good he was. Great. Bring him in. Bring him in. My thoughts are easy. That is That is 100% a move the Steelers should be making. No questions asked. No questions asked. Chris, no, we are in football hell. This is killing me. It's a tough time, guys. It's a tough time out there. It's not fun. Everybody stay safe. It's not fun. It's not a good time for the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base. All righty. The just give up right now in the chat is I feel it, guys. I feel it. Interstellar, if you hate your boss, just wait till you meet the next one. Great first half. If you hate your boss, just wait till you meet the next one. The great first half. This loss is on DBs dropping passes and leaving guys wide open. Just wait till the next one. If you hate your boss, just wait for the next one. I'm so Interstellar. You got to let me know what you mean by this one. If you hate your boss, just wait till you meet the next one. I'm so interested. Great first half. This loss on the DBs dropping passes and leaving guys wide open. I think if Kyle Duggar intercepts a pass or two in this game, because he had 3 of them in his hand, then the Steelers walk away winners. I do feel that. I 100% agree. 100% agree. I think Jalen didn't play that well. James Pierre didn't play good at all. Again, he one good punch out. It was awesome. Great. Kyle Duggar needs to intercept something. He's got Juan Thornhill syndrome, and it's not looking good on him. You need DBs to do something. You need DBs to do something at all. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense. Also, hit in the chat because I got to know. I got to know. If you hate your boss, just wait till the next one, till you meet the next one. I got to know. I got to know. Tiger, we're so cooked. Long season, guys. Long season. And I don't think it's going to get much better, but, you know, we got a lot left. Almost all-star. Had to go to the airport in the middle of the game. I left home. We were up 14. I came home to being down 10. What the F, Noah? Did Mike T's vaunted D lay down? The whole thing, everything laid down. It was not a good game by anybody. It was just a bad situation all around. It was a situation where the Steelers in the second half just couldn't get it done. And there was no rhyme or reason as to why. Nate Moore, is this even a wild card worthy team? No, I don't think it is. I would not pick the Steelers to make the playoffs right now. They're 6-5. If you don't win the AFC North, you got a really hard time getting into the playoffs. I would imagine the Steelers in the next 3 or 4 weeks are on the outside looking into the playoff picture, and I don't know if they're going to end up back in it because of how good the rest of the AFC is and how good the rest of the AFC North is, or the rest of their schedule is, including 2 games against the Ravens. Sir Kush Lord, so who thought having Mason, Uncle Rico, Rudolph was ever going to work out? I don't think that Will Howard would have produced a better result. I think it would have been significantly worse. But I do think that right now, if the Steelers don't have Aaron Rodgers next week, Mason's not the guy I'm putting out there. Screw it. Might as well see what you got in Will Howard. Because what are you going to do? Lose another game and say, well, we tried. No, trying would be trying something else. Try something else. That something else is good old Will Howard. I agreed with the move right now. I don't agree with the next week if it has to happen. Maddie just put Will in at this point. Mason sucks. Y'all hyping him up for what? I don't disagree with anything I've said for the last week. However, like I continue to say, for sure, I'm 100% going Will Howard if the Steelers need a different quarterback next week that's not Aaron Rodgers. 100%. Diamond, is anyone else ready for the draft now? Easy. Give me the Lenore Sellers hype. Give me everything. I just easy. Very easy. Chris, we are getting pounced. It's a family-friendly show, Chris, but that one got me. And somewhere Jacob is literally crying, laughing right now. Solo Fay beats. Tomlin says everything is coaching, yet he comes up with excuses on why we lose. Rooney is dumb and blinds. The staff ain't it. I agree. Everything you said is pretty spot on here. Like, but everything you say is spot on. Tomlin always says it's coaching. Tomlin's finger points at the weirdest things all the time. Weirdest things all the time. But coaching is like, yeah, we all saw that, brother. 100%. 100%. We also saw that your defense stunk. Also saw that. We also saw that Mason Rudolph underthrowing DK Metcalf to start this game was not the move at all. You know, we also saw that not giving Chris Boswell a chance to tie it, not the move at all. We also saw that going for it on 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, whatever it was, with 2 minutes left, should have been an opportunity that you took. You didn't do it. I agree. Sorry, trying to read the chat at the same time, make sure I don't miss anything. Steven, why so much time for Harrison over Wilson? I think the Steelers anticipated that the Bears were going to run the football a lot, and they did not, and made zero adjustments to it. But that's my only guess as to what was happening in this, because the whole time I was thinking the same thing. Why is Malik Harrison still on the field? And you could tell every time they passed, he almost looked a little bit lost. Like, I don't really know what to do in the circumstance. I was supposed to go get the running back. And I mean, I don't, that's my only guess to this, is they anticipated more runs than they got. The Bears ran the football. I have it right here in front of me here. 25 times with their leading rusher was that Kyle Minage, and he had 12 rushes. So it wasn't like it was a crazy rushing day for the Bears. I think they anticipated it much, much more. Michaela Stanley, my bad. Can we blame this on Mason or Arthur Smith's poor scheme? I think it's both. I think it's 100% both. I think the play calling was atrocious. I think Arthur Smith had one good drive. That drive resulted in a touchdown. Besides that, I don't think he had a good drive. I think Mason Rudolph played pretty bad the whole game. Whole entire game. I don't think there was really any moments that Mason looked really good. Like, none. He had Roman Wilson beat to win that game at the end, and he overthrew him out of bounds by 30 yards. That was supposed to be Mason Rudolph's strong suit coming in the NFL 8 years ago, was he could launch that thing. Well, he didn't launch it. Keystone Light, is there any chance the Steelers get Ayuk when he gets released? I would say the Steelers will have him on their radar. I do very much so. I do very much so believe that. Cuckoo, why wouldn't we attempt the game-tying kick? Your guess is as good as mine. 65 yards, Chris Boswell. I'm putting him out there. But the Steelers love, you know what they do? They love to say they don't live in their fears and then live in their fears. Jermaine White, MVS and ASJ better be on the field for the rest of the season. I hope that ASJ does. I'm telling you guys right now, I do not think MVS touches the field this season. Ashley, I love this note. Keep it up. When you are down on the team, they win the game. When you pick them to win and have confidence, they lose. Keep the negativity up the rest of the season. I could do that, Ashley. I 100% can do that. I apologize. I try to be a really optimistic human being. You know what I mean? But if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. Anthony, Asante Samuel Jr., not good. So here's my outlook on ASJ this week for his anticipation. Sorry, I'm losing words here. For his expectation on whether or not he will play in the game. It's practice reps. It is not, does he take a rep or two with the first team? It's How many reps does he take with the first team? There's a difference between tipping your toe in the water and jumping in the deep end. And the Steelers are going to do a little bit of toe tapping before somebody runs in and pushes them. And I wonder if the Bears just shove them right into the deep end. I wonder if that's what happened. I would say what happens in like Wednesday is a clear indication of whether or not he's going to play this week, because they need him out there. They need him out there. Eddie feeding off Ashley here. Now watch the Steelers win by 20 next week. That's the thing, is that they might. They might. That's what they do here. But I mean, you got to go back and forth and just keep your head leveled the entire time. The entire time. And Nate, I know DW is good, but why are we asking him to solo block Sweat? Yeah, I agree. Setting him up for failure is bad coaching. I 100% agree. 100% agree. I mean, that was just a ridiculous play. Mason walked himself into that also, but why? Who was like, you want to know what we should do? Darnell Washington is do it all except for catch the football in this game. Let's just have him block somebody. Let's have them block their best player, actually. It just doesn't make any sense, guys. Any sense, guys. All right, just making sure that I don't miss anything as we're rounding some stuff out here. Some of you guys are hilarious in the comments right now. All right, keeping it trucking here as we move on. Interstellar, if you hate your boss, Tomlin, odds are you're really going to hate his replacement. People are asking for Gruden to replace him. Got it. First off, let me clear some up. Tomlin and me do not work for the same people. Shout out to Mike T, dude. Good guy, 100%. Has never signed a paycheck in my life. If he did, I would be fired so long ago for having said pretty much everything I've ever said about the guy. Pretty much 100%. He would hate me. No doubt about it. I would be in IRHR many years ago. But that's hilarious. I've never met Gruden, but to be honest with you, I would rather the Steelers go young. If you're going to look for a replacement head coach, I get that it's a shot in the dark. I get that it's really difficult and that chances are you're going to miss, but I'd rather take that shot and see if you miss. Because if you make it, you end up with a Ben Johnson. You end up with a Dan Campbell. You end up with a Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan or, all of those guys. And take a chance on one of those guys. Take a chance on the next great head coach instead of the head coach that's already been here. I'd go young and just see if you could get something out of somebody that shows potential in the NFL right now. Ashley, again, I don't disagree with you for the most part, Noah, but why is everyone saying Ravens are so good when they almost lost to the Browns last week and were at one point losing it to the Jets today? I don't think the Ravens are good. I think the Ravens' schedule is significantly easier than the Steelers for the rest of the season, and that's going to help them. Like, that's where I just look at the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens are a Super Bowl team. I think they are a team that have a much easier schedule than the Steelers do for the remainder of the season, which gives them a pretty big upper hand. Keeping it trucking here. Steve, don't worry. I'll find you. I know you're in here somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe I messed up. All right. Toss your question here. We'll get you. No doubt about it. We'll get you. Maddie, Noah, answer my question when you have time. When do we see what we have and will with the seasons looking like they do? No, not until you are completely out of the playoff race. I hear what you're saying. And if the Steelers don't go with Aaron next week, I think you go with Will. However, if in the like we're starting Will for the rest of the season thing, you can't do until your season's over. And to me, you and many others, we could look at it and sit here and say, what are they going to do? Like go to the playoffs and lose again? But you can't convince an NFL team that, they won't think that way. And because of that, you have to wait till, once you are pretty much eliminated from the playoffs or have been eliminated from the playoffs, that's when you turn to Will. That's when it's okay. Here you go. Steve, Notre Dame's head coach, Marcus Freeman is 100% my choice. 100% my choice. That dude's going to be a stud in the NFL one day, and the Steelers should jump on it soon. No doubt. No doubt. Uh, No doubt. Marcus Freeman would be very high, if not number one on my list of options, if he was going to leave Notre Dame and come to the NFL, without question. Without question. Lar, give me some young names to replace Mike T. Oh man. Let's look it up. NFL head coaching candidates 2026. Let's see who's on the list. I'm going to get laggy here while I'm on the other thing, but that's okay. Cliff Kingsbury? Nah. Joe Brady would be another one for sure. Chris Shula, if the Steelers are looking defensively with the Browns. Oh, also a good one. And then Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak is another one. I don't mind Kubiak. I think that's a very interesting name to have on a list. I don't think he's the best name on the list, but he's a pretty good name. He's a pretty good name for sure. I would toss that out there. I would be into Chris Shula as well. I think that's a very good name to watch. Besides that, Marcus Freeman is my third one. If I'm going top three right there, I think that's a good one. Flores would be fun. Flores is only coming as a head coach. And to be honest, I'd go other names before I went Flores. Kevin, how many years can we do this for? I think this could open up the door for change in the next 2 or 3 years. I think that's what this does, which is so sad. It's so sad. Smile and laugh with me as you realize how sad that is. That's sad that it's the beginning of the end, which could take 3 years. That's just wild. Judah, do you think that they will trade up for a quarterback in the draft this year? I'm leaning towards yes. I am leaning towards yes. A lot could change, but I'm leaning towards yes. I just think that it's in Pittsburgh. They're going to want to make a splash. Art Rooney's going to want to do it. Yes, I'm leaning towards yes. And we're going to finish it off with Eddie the Great here. No, what's for dinner? Let's talk about something positive. To be honest with you guys, I don't know what's for dinner because I'm home. Nobody's home. Wife's gone. I'm actually going to work after this one till probably in the next 2-3 hours. Get a little bit of work in. Me and Jack Markowski. Shout out to the crew over at si.com/NFL/Steelers. And from there, maybe order pizza. maybe ask them make a deep dish. You know what I'm saying? Because shout out to Mark Kaboom Kaboli here, because the guy texted me yesterday asking to go get Chicago's deep dish pizza, and I never answered him. And then he texted me at midnight and he said, "Good talk." So the classic, you what are you doing here, pal? Why are you ignoring me? Text. Shout out my guy. Told him I give him a shout out. All right, guys. With that said, I'm heading out of here. Breathe it out. It's Sunday night. We come back tomorrow. We restart a whole new week. A week that may have possibilities of Aaron Rodgers. A week that may have possibilities of maybe Will Howard. Who knows? Either way, equally as exciting. A new week, a new opportunity. And look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They may not be sole possession at first in the AFC North, but they still hold on to first in the AFC North with the Baltimore Ravens. A lot could happen. There's a long season in front of us, and the roller coaster ride continues. Before you guys head out of here, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Can't thank you enough. We're just about to hit 55,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that is crazy. So I really, really am so thankful for you guys. Make sure to check out all my work at si.com/NFL/Steelers and check out this podcast anywhere you get your audio podcasts. With that said, I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg. Peace.